In this brief video, I want to take a few minutes just to talk about how this class works. As you're starting out, you're probably wondering about some of the preparatory aspects of the course, and so this video should give you some of that information and details to help you decide, well, one, if you want to continue on in this course, and two, how to temper your expectations so you know what you're looking for in this class. The first thing you want to know is that this course operates on a flipped classroom model. What does that mean? Essentially, that just means that rather than attending class and seeing lectures in person 3 times or 2 times a week for 3 hours, all the course materials on your side of the table. That is, there are prepared lectures, PowerPoints, illustrations, guides, and all kinds of peer review features that allow you to work asynchronously and produce work that then comes to the other side of the table, which is rather than meeting in person in a classroom for 3 hours, we focus that in one meeting across the semester for several meetings. So you produce work outside of class, bring it to the office or via Skype, and meet to talk about your writing, your ideas, and so you're really getting something more individualized out of the classroom model. So for our purposes, Blackboard, that's going to be where the majority of our work takes place. So you need to be sure that you're able to log into and able to use Blackboard well. Our course starts on Wednesday the 6th of January and runs through the end of April. So this course of ours is broken into 3 content modules. There are some training weeks at the beginning of the semester to help you kind of acclimate, understand some course concepts and terms so you understand what kinds of assignments you'll be completing, how to submit them. But the 3 content modules focus on 3 specific aspects of the course content, and within each one you'll produce a series of work. You'll read some texts, you'll summarize some text, you'll take notes on texts, you'll write a project paper, create a project for each module, and it's kind of the same idea. So you're learning how to work through this process of reading, note-taking, and analysis and synthesis as you go through each module. And by the time you get to the 3rd module, things will be a lot more familiar. So you want to build in a little bit of tempered expectation for that as well. Our course, because it's online, requires you to be a good communicator. So you need to be sure you're checking your email. You need to be sure you're emailing when you have questions, or leaving a message on Skype, or coming to the Writing Center and asking questions, meeting with a peer tutor or a graduate assistant. It's not okay to sit in the corner in this class and not ask questions or not participate. You'll find the course becomes much more difficult if you try those steps. Historically, students have asked about, in the classroom, you ask those questions, how hard is this class? How hard of a grader are you? Rather than address the class in this way, I'd rather point out, this is not an easy A kind of class. I'll tell you that up front. It's more, you can pass the class by doing the work, but if you want an A or a B, there are certain expectations of effort and result that you need to meet. And so just to echo that again, it's not an easy A kind of course. This is not just turn in the assignments, get an A. It's not high school. It's not the opportunity to submit work late and just kind of get a pass at the A level. This is a class that requires you to evidence your effort and critical thinking skill through writing. And there is a high bar here. So if you're looking for an A in this class, expect to put in the hours for it. Our course does follow a learning contract, so you'll want to read over the learning contract in a separate video. But understand that if you do well enough in terms of your effort and turning in work and meet the minimum expectations in that learning contract, you can receive a B regardless of the quality of your writing, as long as you do those things. If you want an A, then we start to consider what kind of writing are you submitting on top of the effort you're putting into the course. So by comparison with other courses, your effort is weighed as we consider what grade you should end the course with. Some ideas as you go forward. Every student in this class should have easy and consistent access to the internet. You never really get to use the excuse of my internet went out, or there was some sort of DNS outage or something like that for our course. You can plan ahead. Have some sort of backup for when you're submitting work. Make sure that you always have a Dropbox or an online repository or cloud or USB where you're backing up documents. There's never going to be an excuse that's okay for submitting work late or lost work. This is 2016. The technology exists now to make sure that those things aren't issues. By the end of the first week of class, and this is the last idea here, you want to make sure that you log on to our course Blackboard by midnight and just introduce yourself in the course discussion board. This is kind of your way of showing up. This tells me you're in the class. If you don't show up by this point, I have to drop you from the class for non-attendance, as the university maintains a strict first day attendance policy. For our purposes, it's the first week because it's an online class, but be sure to evidence that you exist. Raise your hand, go to the discussion board, introduce yourself, answer some questions about yourself, and just make sure that your name is in Blackboard, is active, and I can see that you've logged in. Otherwise, I'm going to email the registrar and ask the registrar's office to remove you from the class for non-participation so people on the wait list can be admitted to the course. If you have other questions about the course beyond this course welcome letter, go through the home page in our Blackboard, look through the syllabus and its appendices, find that information. If you still can't find the answers to questions you have, let me know, email me. Drop by the Writing Center, see me in my office in 1233 in the Writing Center. Otherwise, I'm excited for the course and looking forward to meeting each one of you individually.